para ihayag ang pinakahuling kalagayan ng COVID-19 crisis sa bansa at ang mga hakbang na ginagawa ng pamahalaan laban sa pandemya. Mula sa Pangulo ng Republika ng Pilipinas, Mayor Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Ito ang Talk to the People on COVID-19.
Yes, Mr. President, ready na po kami na i-pay out yung binigay nyo na sa amin na 13 billion, Mr. President. To include yung 3 billion from the tourism, saka 300 million sa teachers, yung mga non-teaching position. And then yung binigay nyo, Mr. President, na 1 billion para sa mga anak ng mga OFW, na one college student per displaced OFW for payout na po lahat, Mr. President. Kanina nga with Senator Bongo, Secretary Bautista, nag-payout na po kami sa Vira Catanduanes, including Bato Catanduanes, Mr. President, doon sa Tupad, Mr. President.
Okay. Sunny, you're the premier office, but everything seems to be all right on your front. You have no report to make.
Mr. President, I do.
Yes.
But it is regarding the GDP numbers that were released today. So, would you want me to?
Go ahead.
So our experience with COVID-19 over the past several months tells us two things. First, the economy is strong enough to recover if we enable it to do so. Second, our best recourse is to help the economy. To help the economy is to manage the risk. Managing the risks instead of avoiding them will allow us to safely open more of the economy and help Filipinos recover their sources of income. This will also put the Philippines back on its solid growth and development trajectory. The third quarter of 2020 saw the country dance with the virus, 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. In August, the National Capital Region and neighboring provinces reverted to modified enhanced community quarantine status for 2 weeks to respond to the increase in COVID cases and to help prepare the hospitals' critical care units. Earlier in June and July, Cebu City also reverted to enhanced community quarantine and then MECQ to improve its health system. Several other local government units also went back to the more stringent quarantines to save lives. These actions gave us time to expand our capacity to deal with this contagion. From zero capacity in February, daily testing reached 111,600 on November 4, with 160 labs providing RT-PCR testing, while daily testing reached a peak of 46,597 on September 11. From a handful of DOH personnel as contact tracers, we now have over 253,442 trained contact tracers deployed across the country as of November 6. More testing and vigilant contact tracing led to the detection of more cases, as expected, but the far majority at 94% are asymptomatic and mildly sick. Most importantly, we have reduced the number of future infections because we have also implemented more effective isolation protocols. Around 393,961 total cases as of November 7 reported deaths number 7,485, equivalent to a case fatality rate of 1.9%. This is much lower than the 17% in April. Total active cases are manageable at 36,260, of which 2,283 or 6% are severely or critically ill requiring hospital care. So our recovery rate is 98% already. Actually 98.1%. So that is a very good recovery rate. We have also used the quarantine period to wisely boost our capacity to treat those requiring hospitalization. Throughout the country, some 21,909 hospital beds are dedicated to COVID-19 as of November 4. Of the total allocated beds, only around 39% is occupied. This means the country is ready to care for COVID-19 patients. However, these concerted efforts did not come without a cost. Our experience in 2020 thus far shows our resilience as a nation. We are aware of and are thankful for the many sacrifices the Filipino people have to make, from mothers who juggle their work while helping their children study remotely, to healthcare workers in testing centers and in hospitals who risk their lives to detect the virus and care for the very sick. Some of them are family members and close friends. A major part of our success in controlling virus transmission is the cooperation of people in making minimum health standards as part of their daily lives. All these small contributions go a long way in our recovery process.
Agree. Totoo yan. You go to Art. What's your take, Art?
Thank you very much, Mayor President, for giving me the opportunity to make a statement on what the Department of Transportation has done and will continue to do in relation to addressing the sad issues of COVID-19. Ang katanungan ano ang nagawa ng kagawaran ng transportasyon at ano ang planong gawin ng kagawaran sa COVID-19. Umpisahan natin sa mga nagawa na. Marahil narinig ninyo na po, Mayor President, yung tinatawag na free shuttle service na ibigay natin sa mga health workers, kasama yung mga doktor, nurses, medical technologists, yung mga katulong sa frontliners na tinatawag. Mr. President, as of November 7, your Department of Transportation has serviced 1,800,000 health workers, providing them with free shuttle service. Ibig kong sabihin, kung saan sila nanggaling, dadalhin sila sa ospital, at kung pagkagaling sa ospital, dadalhin ho sila kung saan sila pauwi. Libre po yon. Ilan ang naserbisyuhan? 1,800,000 as of November 7. Meron hong programa na hatid tulong. Ito ho yung programa ng ating Senator Bongo at ng ating mahal na IS na kung saan meron silang ginawang hatid probinsya, balik eskwela. Ito po, ano ho ang naging bahagi ng kagawaran ng transportasyon dito? Mr. President, Mayor President, 288,593 ang naiuwi ho namin sa mga probinsya in the pursuit of the project of Senator Bongo and the Executive Secretary. By land, 87,000. By air, 145,000. By sea, 56,000. In addition to this, we have what we call the one-stop shop operation na kung saan tumutulong ho yung kagawaran sa pagbalik ng ating mga overseas workers. Meron hong one-stop shop, OSS, ika nga, na itinayo namin sa Miaa, Terminal 1, 2, and 3, sa Clark at sa Cebu. Ilan ho yung natulungan ng kagawaran ng mga overseas workers dito, yung mga kababayan natin na balik Pilipinas, 466,542, Mr. President. Ngayon ho, may sasabihin ho ako na bago. Ito ho yung tinatawag natin na crew change hubs. Because of the pandemic, inumpisahan at linunsad ho namin yung tinatawag na crew change hub na kung saan nag-open kami ng portals sa iba't ibang lugar sa Pilipinas. Inumpisahan ho namin sa Port of Manila, sa Port of Kapinpin in Bataan, sa Subic Bay Freeport Salt, at sa Port of Cebu. Mag-open ho kami in the next few weeks sa Davao at sa Batangas. As of today, as we speak, ang naserbisyohan ho natin na barko na kung saan dumadaong sa Pilipinas at napapabilis ang pag-disembark ng mga seafarers, 875 ships. Doon ho sa sinabi ko mga lugar kanina at 14,000 seamen ang naorganisa. Ano ho ang ibig sabihin nito? Una ho, mapapalawig at mapapadali ang disembarkation ng mga seafarers. At hangarin ko po, at nasabi ko ho ito, nung ako'y nagtalumpati sa General Assembly IMO, etong mga nakaraang buwan, sinabi ko, hangarin po ng ating Pangulo, Mayor President Duterte, na gawin ang Republika ng Pilipinas na maging the capital of crew change hub in the world. Papunta ho tayo dyan at magkakaroon ho ng magandang transformasyon dito in the next few months. In addition to this, we have established COVID-19 testing labs and quarantine facilities. Nandiyan dyan ho yung sa Mactan, Cebu. Ang capacity, 1,500 to 3,000 tests daily. Ito ho sa kagawaran ng transportasyon yan. Meron ho kaming PPA molecular lab na nagsiservisyo ng 2,000 tests daily. Meron pa rin ho kaming Clark Airport molecular lab, 2,000 tests daily. The EVA Macapagal Super Terminal in Manila South Harbor was transformed into a quarantine facilities. PPA only recently opened and inaugurated a 124-bed quarantine facilities dedicated for seafarers in Bataan on October 9, 2020. Hindi ho pahihuhuli ang Philippine Coast Guard. Nag-open din ho ng quarantine facility ang Coast Guard noong October 10, 2020. Ito ho ay gagamitin ng ating hindi lang mga Coast Guard, kundi pati na yung mga ating kababayan na nangangailangan ng quarantine at isolation.
What is splendid report? We now go to Mon, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Ito marami rin, ano.
Iklihan ko lang po, but you have a copy, Mr. President.
I mean yung ano mo.
Okay, so thank you for giving us the opportunity to present. I will skip the first chart and go to the second chart, which is on the reopening of the economy na binanggit po ni Secretary Sani earlier. And just to give you an update, next chart, next chart. Just to give you an update. So since about May and June, we've started to reopen yung economy by opening yung mga sectors that were closed because of the lockdown. Ang nangyayari po sa IATF, we slowly, gradually allowed different sectors that will allow our kababayan to go back to work para makapagtrabaho uli sila. So, considering all sectors from agriculture, ever since hindi po sinara ang agriculture, kaya right now they are posting positive growth of about 1.2%. So that's good for the GDP. Ang mga sinara po yung mga non-essential industries or sectors. But starting when we were moving from MECQ to GCQ, we slowly added and opened up sectors like manufacturing, pati ho yung iba ho sa services. Ito po nasa board would be the recent addition na binuksan natin. Ito ho yung mga services, mga labor-intensive to, basically services kasi. So these are like mga legal, accounting, financial services, architecture, engineering, so on and so forth. Pati yung mga retail, mga malls, commercial centers, allowing also public and private construction projects. Even yung mga non-leisure, wholesale stores tulad po ng hardware, clothing and accessories, bookstores, etc. And of course, yung isa sa pinakamalaki ring sector in terms of yung mga manggagawa, mga workers, barbershops and salons. Kaya ito isa rin sa maaga natin binuksan, pero limited yung operating capacity because we were trying to do it gradually. Ayaw natin mabigla at baka magkaroon ng outbreak. We have to institute extra health protocol para hindi magkahawahan lalo na sa barbershops and salons or even in dine-in restaurants that we allowed. Ito pong barbershops and salons, estimate po dyan mga 400,000 ang employment, ang workers dyan. That's why we were really trying to open it up earlier as possible. So I think na-open ito towards May or June. Pero maliit na capacity. And slowly, na-allow po natin umakyat sa 30%, 50%. And yung recent announcement po natin, inallow na to 100%. Ganun din sa dine-in restaurant, nag-umpisa sa 30% at inallow na rin to 50%. And now we can go over 50%. Dine-in industry, itong mga restaurant, they account for about 1.9 million in terms of employment. So maraming trabaho na nagde-depend sa industriya na yan. That's why we really had to open up earlier and now increasing the capacity. Yung mga last sectors na binuksan natin, next chart, would be this, no? Yung mga testing, tutorial review, centers, gyms, fitness centers, internet cafes, marami po yan, nagkalat nationwide, dermatological clinics, other personal care services, pet grooming. Basically, ito kasi, kaya nahuli ito, these are considered really not too essential. Pero in the spirit of reopening of the economy and nagkaroon tayo sa cabinet ng isang principle that we adopted from risk aversion or avoidance to risk management, we really had to open up more sectors para mas maraming makabalik sa trabaho. And next chart please. And ang parating paalala natin, so that we can reopen further, we have to follow yung 7 commandments, yung minimum health standard. The wearing of face mask, face shield, no talking and no eating, especially in public places, especially in public transport, allowing more ventilation, hindi kulob ang isang lugar, keeping physical distance, frequent disinfection, and syempre not allowing symptomatics and really isolating the positives. So ang ibig sabihin po nito is that okay tayong mag-reopen as long as sumunod sa minimum health protocol. The community quarantine will not be the determinant para bumaba yung cases. It will be the adherence to the minimum health protocol. Kaya di tayo mag-reopen kahit basta merong minimum health protocol. And we've seen that, Mr. President, in the recent nga, nagre-reopen tayo ng economy and yet our cases bumababa. So ibig sabihin wala sa reopening ng economy yung pag-increase ng cases. Basta sumunod lang dito sa minimum health protocol.
Salamat po. Ito a good report. May we call upon Ruli? Panahon na.
Mr. President, Senator Bongo, members of the Cabinet, magandang gabi po. The purpose of my presentation is in two parts. One is to give the members of this forum on the effort of the SWD and other agencies to address the effects of typhoons, particularly Typhoon Rolly, and an overview of the SWD programs and activities vis-a-vis implementation of Bayanihan 2. So, for the situation for Typhoon Rolly, there were 5,360 affected barangays, more than 500,000 affected families, with more or less 2 million affected individuals. Next slide. With regards to displaced persons and families, there are 9,878 affected families, with more than 39,000 affected individuals inside the evacuation centers. Next slide. On the other hand, 11,022 affected families with 44,954 affected individuals are outside of the evacuation centers and are staying with their relatives, friends, and neighborhood. Next. For the damaged houses, more than 38,000 are, or rather 33,000 are totally damaged, and more than 128,000 are identified as partially damaged houses. The department has initially provided assistance to all the affected regions in the amount of more than 52.4 million pesos. With regards to the actions taken, next slide please. The slide depicts the transport of food and non-food items to the provinces under Region 5 from 02 November to 10 November using air and naval assets of the Philippine Air Force, Philippine Navy, and Philippine Coast Guard. Next slide. An initial of 59,420 family food packs, more than 4,000 bottles of water, and assorted non-food items were provided to the beneficiaries. Mr. President, yung mga ibang family food packs po natin ay naka-preposition po yan sa mga daungan o kaya sa mga airport na if in case there will be an available air or naval assets, they will be immediately pushed to Region 5, particularly Catanduanes. The slide depicts that for the other food and non-food items augmentation, there were 19,491 family food packs were distributed to the beneficiaries of NCR, Region 3, 4A, and 4B. Next slide. At present, the department has a standby funds which is also used as quick reaction funds amounting to 226.1 million pesos, wherein 184.7 million is available at the central office, while the rest is distributed to the different field offices. Mr. President, nag-usap na po kami ni Secretary Abisado at nagpapasalamat po ako sa kanya dahil sinabi po niya na i-replenish po niya ang quick reaction funds ng DSWD.
Thank you. Anybody? Tapos na siguro yung user.
Mr. President, I do not have any presentation to do because the DOJ's participation in the anti-COVID campaign is basically supportive. So that means to say our active participation in the IATF to ensure that all rules or guidelines being crafted by the IATF are in accordance with law. Also, our participation is in the continuing investigation and prosecution of all violations of health and quarantine protocols. And through the Bureau of Immigration, Mr. President, we strictly enforce all rules and regulations that have been adopted by the IATF in connection with foreign travel and immigration, Mr. President.
Well, wala na ako na. Then, I will address again to the people. Periodic to at least, I think it has become an every week affair. So, ang akin dito, we have good reports. And not only good reports, but really reflecting the reality of the country and what we expect. And binigay man sa inyo kung ano. And they've been working very hard. Sunny here. Una ang COVID because that is the main concern. Nandito na ang bakuna. So, it's being sold. Yung iba sa, I don't know, it would be not good to assume that there's a black market for that. But Sonny says that he can borrow money of 300 million plus to US dollars, $300 million. So malaki yan. Makapabili tayo. But I think it would do as well to also realize that unahin talaga nila yung mga tao nila. China na Pfizer of America, meron na sila. So, hindi na nakakatakot talaga ang COVID. But sa pagkangayon, magbili ka mahal. As I have promised, gastos ng gobyerno itong bakuna para sa lahat ng Pilipino. Kaya nga, umpisa natin sa mga mahirap, pataas na ano. Let's start with A, B, C, D, E. The lowest sa E, yung talagang mahirap na wala. Then, paakyat tayo dandahan sa D. Then, yung C, medyo hindi na, sobra na yung 300 million ni Secretary Dominguez. Hindi tayo maggastos dyan kasi marami mga pera na yan. AB crowd, yun yung mga milyonaryo, mga multimillionaire. Yung nasa C, they are in a bracket which we think are pretty good for them to just buy the medicines for themselves. Yun ang status. As long as may magpautang sa atin, no problem about it. How long? In due time. Ngayon, ang hindi sa ayaw natin bumili o wala pa tayong mabili kasi sabi ko, ang vaccine sa Amerika was binili na kaagad ng, I think, the federal government made a first installment. Binili na. So, you can expect that within the few months until next year, all of those vaccines produced will be used by the Americans. Same story with the European countries na successfully developed the vaccine, including China. Yung sa China, yung Sinovac, pati nila yung Sinopharm, I think they have already. Again, we have to keep in mind na they have a population to worry. And that population is not easy. Americans are about 340 million plus. And China about 1.3 billion. So tatapusin muna yan nila bago sila magbigay sa iba. Yan ang ano. But hindi naman lahat eh. May mga ibang kumpanya na nakasunod na. It's out in, the cat is out of the bag. So probably yung paggawa niyan, kaya na kopyahin ng iba. So yan mga kababayan ko. Basta mabakunahan kayo. Wala kailan maghintay lang tayo, pera, makahiram tayo kaagad. Ang supply, ang problema. Kung sino yung country nagkapag-imbento, naturalmente unahin niya yung mga tao niya. That's the reality of life. Yan ang... So the vaccine is there is hope for mankind. Pero ako, wala pang bakuna, pero hindi na ako takot. Maybe not, depende sa swerte mo sa buhay. But for the succeeding generations, mga anak ko, mga apo ko, I'm quite confident with the thought that they have a refuge which they can take shelter dito sa COVID storm. Sa corruption, sinasabi ko naman sa inyo na galit ako talaga. And I will not only investigate you, I will expose you to the public para malaman ng tao na niloko ninyo yung gobyerno. Dito sa Bureau of Immigration, may nadagdag ngayon sa iyon ito, sir. Under the Bureau of Immigration is under the Secretary of Justice. It's an agency that is attached. Ang bagong is Perry Michael Pancho, Marcos Nicodemus, Darin Ilagan, preventively suspended last month by the DOJ pending investigation of formal charges against them for grave misconduct, neglect of duty, or conduct prejudicial to the best interest in the service in connection with the falsification of travel record of a former Wirecard executive. So, ayan. Ang iba naman itong si Neil Tristan Istomo, Micara K. Cortez, Christopher Lee. Totoo ba ito si Christopher? Di ba ito si Dracula? Christopher Lim. Roland Lim. No, it's just a joke. Pero totoo, there's such a person known as Christopher Lee. Itong si Stomo Cortez Lee Lim, preventively suspended last month by the DOJ pending investigation of formal charges against them for grave misconduct, serious dishonesty, gross neglect of duty, and or conduct prejudicial to the best interests of the service in connection with the Pastilla scheme. Wala na ito. Then, may bago tayo sa Department of Public Works and Highways. Ang na-harvest natin na mga supposedly, it's not good to call them criminals, but eventually, if they are charged and convicted, they would be Wilfredo Agustino, Rudy Canastillo, Edward Canastillo, Susel Caligan, dismissed by the Ombudsman September 21, 2016 for grave misconduct. Leia B. Negre, dismissed by the Ombudsman on 20 October 2016 for misconduct in relation to the acquisition of excessively priced lamp post. Marami ito. Itong pumasok noon sa China. Yung pagbukas ng China at ang ekonomiya ng Pilipinas, there were a lot of importations. A lot of those were really deposed. Na may ilaw na, but they were priced heavily by not of course, not by China. They manufacture lang naman. Yung mga ahente dito, tapos in connivance with the government people, ayan, presyo. Ibasahin ko ito mga na-dismiss to by the Ombudsman for the following violations. Violation of Article 210 or direct bribery, and Article 211 or indirect bribery of the revised penal code. You can pronounce it bribery or violation of Section 3E of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, violation of Section 7 D of the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards and the Government Procurement Pera na naman to, Reform Act. Ito sila si Ricardo Paulican, Elmer Calo, Pedro Mercado, Agatonia Nico, Galarita, Doroteo Ilagan, Harold Marie. Meron pa. Abutin tayo ng umaga nito. Ubos na ang mga empleyado. You know, kayong mga, do not ever think that you are indispensable in the scheme of things sa gobyerno. Maraming Pilipino dyan, mga graduate, na mahuhusay, na may honest. Marami ang walang trabaho ngayon. Kaya kayong taga-gobyerno may trabaho, take care of your position. Do not allow even a dent of anomaly na dumaan sa opisina mo. Kasi sabi ako, stricto na ako ngayon until at the end of my term. Pag makita ko may ka, sisirain mo lang. So, maraming Pilipino naghihintay, mga civil service eligible, mga graduates. Marami akong pampalit sa inyo. Do not ever think that you would count in the large context of governance. So, dismiss ito sila. Kita mo sa karami magastos ang laway. Ayaw, gano'n. Minsan dito sa Coco, gano'n ko na. Ako naman ang uminom ng Coco. Employees dismissed. DPWH. DPWH, Rolando Asis, Edelberto Tayaw, Berna Coca, Luz Viminda, Narciso, Danilo Peroy, dismissed by the Ombudsman for misconduct. They executed bidding documents after award. May bidding after the award na. Imbis bidding award, may award bidding. And implementing of the rehabilitation of the Paglaom Sports Complex in Bacolod. Linti nga tiga na nga dito na tayo itabo sa inyo. Dismissed by the Ombudsman, Ray Alcantara of the Local Water Utilities Administration. Dishonesty, grave misconduct, conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service. Then may isa pa tayong bright boy, Elmer Riderico, dismissed by the Ombudsman on April 6, 2018 for grave misconduct and conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service. He engaged in fraudulent and irregular bidding, causing undue in the award and the subsequent implementation of the project. By the way, do not ever think that itong kasi dalawa, administrative pati criminal. Yung minsan sa administrative sa opisina lang, it's the secretary, yung head. na mismo, and they can dismiss you. The other opisina na mayayari ka, ang ombudsman. So, dalawa yan. Pero itong mga dishonesty, grave misconduct, conduct unbecoming of a public officer, ito administrative lang to. Sa opisina ninyo, matanggal ka sa trabaho, suspendido ka. But, itong dalawa, it will not stop here. The ombudsman will file, kaya nito, he engaged in fraudulent and irregular bidding, causing undue delay in the award and the subsequent implementation. Anak, Elmer Roderico, the government will file criminal charges against you. Dalawa talaga ang tama ninyo dito. Criminal, pati alis kayo sa opisina ninyo. Meron dito si Noel Pineda, Edward Del Rosario Sevilla, Alberto Cainhog. Ganon, dismissed by the ombudsman. Gross misconduct and conduct prejudicial to the service. DPWH pa rin tayo. Eufrenia Cabaya, Helen Asinas, Wilson Tagbo. Ito, medyo tingin siguro ng ombudsman hindi mabigat. But, you are suspended by the ombudsman for 1 year without pay for misconduct, but without prejudice of filing a case against you. Si Rex Uyahoy, suspended for 6 months without pay for misconduct and insubordination. Well, ang tingin ng ombudsman dito nakalagay, granting a request for a modification. Nabigyan siya, maybe because of the merit of the case also. Enrico Gilias, suspended by the ombudsman for 2 months and 1 day. Roberto Canisal, suspended for 1 month. Philip Nenes, suspended by the ombudsman. Edna Nenes, pareho ang middle name ninyo. Magkapatid kayo. Philip at Edna, FF kayo, Nenes. Mines, rather. Huwag ninyong sobraan ang drama ninyo. Kung gusto ninyo makapera, umalis na lang kayo sa gobyerno, negosyo. Magnegosyo kayo sa labas. Sunny Boy Oropel, suspended by the ombudsman for 1 month. Next time, I will see to it that you will be dismissed from the service. Arnaldo Bonifacio, suspended by the, by the office, siguro. Next time, because sa administrative, pwede kang mag-appeal hang sa opisina ko. Pero pagdating sa lamesa ko yan, since you are known to be a malikot ang bulsa ninyo, you were suspended only. Next time, Arnaldo Bonifacio, I will dismiss you from the service. Lahat yung suspended, next time na magkaroon kayo baski simple simple neglect of duty, or whatever, it falls as a ground for dismissal, papalisin ko na kayo. Virgilio Eduarte, note dito, PRRD appointee. He was suspended by the ombudsman. Next time, magkamali ka, I will personally see to it that you're out. Umalis kayo dyan sa alingas-ngas yan dyan sa DPWH. Maraming magbabantay. Serafin Lago, ganun rin. Next time, dismissal ka na. Suspended ka lang ngayon. Roberto Atienza, ganun na, suspended. Next time, I'll dismiss you. Joselito Altiveros, suspended ka lang by the DPWH for 6 months. Misconduct. Next time. Sabi ko nga, maraming Pilipino naghahanap ng trabaho. Every year, we are producing so many thousands of graduates. Wala nga mapakasukan, walang trabaho. Na kung gusto ninyo, bakantihin yan mga posisyon sa opisina ninyo, gumawa kayo ng kalukuhan. And may isa pa. I think this will be... Kayo ba, either as a businessman or as a government employee lang, if you come to know of a conspiracy or may usapan to do an illegal act, sundan mo lang, let it ripen into a crime. Pag natapos na ang papilis, hindi na kailangan magbayad ang gobyerno. The contract itself will be the evidence. Sa hindi na kailangan The fact that you have the intention to draft a contract that is prejudicial to government will be enough to send you to the gallows. Ngayon, pakiusapan ko na lang yung lahat. Kayong wala mga trabaho, kayong mga casual, ilang taon na. All you have to do is to let me know. And may price ako. Pagka meron kang malaki, if it's a malaking sindikato, ghost project ni director, putang ina, I'll give you 50,000. Bulong mo lang baski sino. Yung kaibigan mo, wag ka na magbigay ng pangalan. Sabihin mo lang yung kontrata, dito, ganito. Sino sa gobyerno, maybe Secretary Roque or Sunny Dominguez. Pag mamalaking mga contract, wag mo lang sabihin pangalan mo, ibulong mo lang na niluluto yan. I'll give you 100,000 and I will keep your identity secret until I reach my grave. Hindi ko kayo bubukuhin, hindi ko kayo papasubo. At kung nalaman kayo, tapos hinaharas kayo, paalamin mo ako, I will deal with the devil. Yan ang gusto ko. Bumaril ng tao na legal. Kaya kung inaano ka, tinatakot ka, paalamin mo ako. I would be happy to make you happy. Okay? So, dyan tayo magtapos, mga kababayan ko. Take note of my Yung ano ko, 50,000, 100,000. Yung malaki. Bulong mo lang. Huwag kang magbigay ng pangalan. Pag na ano namin na totoo, bantayan lang namin, then I will allow it to ripen to a crime. Pagkatapos, kami na ang bibira. Then, pagdating ng panahon, balikan mo doon ka kay Secretary Tugade, sabihin mo, Secretary, di ba ako yung nag-report? Kung si Secretary Tugade, yes, I remember you. Tama na. Bayad ako. Mga kababayan ko, maraming salamat at magandang gabi sa inyo lahat.